All right, everybody, we are back. It is feeling like summer. You can't see it, but I'm in shorts and a t-shirt here. I got these orange flags here because everybody keeps running over my lawn. It's driving me crazy. So I planted all this seed and some of it's starting to take, and that's what we got. We're building a new porch. The Amish guys are building a porch, and they'll be here finishing that sucker hopefully at the end of the week. That's our goal. The cows are still on grass, which is a good thing. And I want to talk to you about something today, and that's something, ready for this? This is going to shock you guys. Meat. I want to talk about meat. Yep. And I want to talk about it in a different way. I want to talk to you, and I want to actually start with a question. How has meat changed your life? And put that in the comments down below. How has meat changed your life? And I'm going to give you a little background as to why I'm even having this conversation with you today. I had a great talk yesterday with a gentleman who was actually in a major accident, and he was given all these pain meds, and his body was sort of riddled with pain and inflammation, and he was obviously having difficulty sleeping. He was in pain. By the way, I had to cut the lawn today. It's one of those things. It's one of my obsessions, cutting the lawn. So he was in a heck of a lot of pain. So what he did was he said, okay, I got to make a change, which by the way is a huge thing, because most people don't make changes, right? They talk, but they don't make changes. They sit there and they do the same thing over and over and over and over again without making a change. But this guy was interesting because he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a change. And in making that change, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the inflammation out of my body. And he literally used meat to do that. He took all the sugar out of his diet. He took all the preservatives, dyes, etc. out of his diet. That's very Maha RFK-ish. And he changed his life. Pain was gone. No longer needed painkillers. And how many people today are riddled with pain and discomfort throughout their body, and they take what we all know as an anti-inflammatory because we're trying to get rid of inflammation. So obviously you would take an anti-inflammatory, but here's where people go off. And again, my background is in sports medicine, nutrition, performance. Here's where they go off. They don't realize that something, here we go. This is the very important thing to listen to. Something is causing the inflammation, and it's your job to figure out what causes the inflammation on you. And for most people, it's just a couple things. It is salt, okay? Table salt, because I know the salt freaks out there are going to get on my rear. But it is table salt. It is dyes, okay? Red dye, yellow dye, blue dye, orange dye, all that, okay? It is actually any preservative that can cause inflammation within the body. Here's another one for you. I had a meeting with my guys today. I do a coaching group, and we were talking about health and nutrition, and we talked about this other magical one called natural flavors. When you look at some of the boxes of food you eat, some of the things that you drink, and it says natural flavors, realize one thing, folks, those most oftentimes are not natural flavors. The rule around natural flavors is this: it has to start in a natural state, but it doesn't have to finish that way. So let's say you want the flavor of vanilla. Well, you have to start with a vanilla bean, but that doesn't have to be how you finish. You could finish however way you want. You could process that all the way down, and you could finish it however you want. You know what I love about meat is that when you eat pork, you're literally eating pork, right? It's literally an animal that is slaughtered and then processed accordingly. Processed meaning butchered, cut into consumable pieces that are based on the autonomy of the animal. And from there, you get to eat a single ingredient food, right? Pork is pork. So when you have a pork chop, especially a farm-raised pork chop, what's pretty cool is it comes from this animal who's living on the farm, who goes through processing, butchery, slaughter, and then what comes out is this animal's loin, and that becomes your pork chop, okay? So there's no question here as to what it is. But with some of these other things, natural flavors. Very, very interesting one. One of the other things we were talking about today was Metamucil. So for those that have an issue, Metamucil is something that's often taken in order to relieve the issue of being jammed up in your intestinal area. And what is in Metamucil is basically an orange dye, citric acid, one other thing, and I want to say it's 𝐸𝐫𝐸𝐿. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But that's the actual ingredient that causes somebody to move their bowels. So why not just go get that ingredient and eliminate all the other stuff that's in there? And that's what we have to start doing, guys. We got to start thinking about food as our medicine. We have to think about using food to heal us, single ingredient food that is not processed, chemically mutated, enhanced, or changed outside of its natural state. So the more we can go with these single ingredient foods, the more we could eat off the land, the more we can eat off farms, the better off that we are all going to be from a health standpoint. Because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of bad information out there, and unfortunately a lot of that bad information is being spewed by many who we trust, known as doctors, because many doctors have very little, if any, background in nutrition. Now, I, again, am fortunate enough to work with people on their performance, helping them to optimize their performance by doing things more naturally. And one of those other things that we tend to relieve through dietary change is reflux. So somebody comes, they have gastro reflux issues, they're burning up their esophagus. Look, 9 out of 10 times that's a dietary issue, but almost 10 out of 10 times it is caused by a dietary issue. So whatever you're dealing with is the symptom, but it is the symptom based on your choices. And that's the biggest thing. Many have a hard time choosing to change. So what I'm saying is this, so, when I coach people, I let them know, look, you don't have to change everything, but you need to change the things that are causing the negative side effect. And that's where we have to begin the change. And many struggle with that. So I want to encourage you to make the change. Where in your body are you feeling something that could be better? And some people have been eating poorly for so many years that they have no idea where that is or what that is. They've just gotten so accustomed to feeling like crap, right? Joint pain and pain in general is not a natural state. It's not something that you should be dealing with. Reflux is not a natural state or something that you should be dealing with. Believe it or not, poor sleep is not something that you should be dealing with. Anxiety, stress, not something that you should be dealing with. So when we start to think of all of these things that we have, or we know people that have, we have to realize this, that a change is needed, and a change will change what it is you're dealing with. So I know this is a little informative today as I go on this walk to go see these beautiful babies out here known as cows, which, by the way, is the cleanest meat you can eat on the planet. Cows have 4 stomachs. They eat grass. They process it through those 4 chambers, and they produce amazing meat. And I got to tell you, very interesting. We move the cows onto the grass. I'm looking at their coats now starting to shine. I'm looking at them, their body composition starting to change here in just 2 weeks. Now, the same thing can happen to you. If you make a change, your body condition and composition could change also in less than 2 weeks. I work with people, and in a couple days, they start to feel their body change. I'm working with a group right now. We're 15 days in. The average person has lost between 10 and 13 pounds just taking the inflammation out of their body. So again, guys and gals, we got to make a change here. Don't wait for something to happen. If you're dealing with some symptoms right now, realize that you can change it. You can change it, and diet is the way. There's an old, I guess we'll call it a proverb in a way, by Hippocrates that says, let food be thy medicine. And I love these babies here, but the truth is they're raised and bred in order to feed our wonderful customers who value great food, eating off the land. And that's why Lauren and I got into this. You know, she was getting inflammation on her face, her body was inflaming, and we said, okay, something's got to be going on. Every time we go out to eat, the body inflames. What the heck? You know, same thing with me. I was, every time I'd have dairy, my stomach would, you know, look like a pregnant woman. I said, what the heck's going on? All of a sudden I have raw milk, 𝐸2 dairy from our cows here. I have no problem. No problem. So what does that say? What the heck is that saying? It's saying that something is wrong, and the cure is right here. Guys, the cure is right here. So meat, how has meat changed your life? For those of you that are carnivores out there, for those of you that are, you know, keto engaged, paleo engaged, using food to transform your nutrition and your life and your body and your mind, like, how's that working out for you? Put some comments down below, because we're going to use those stories as inspirational stories to help motivate and inspire others to do the same. And very cool stuff. It's amazing how the body works. It's amazing what kind of transformation is available, you know, to all of us. So, you know, be grateful that you're listening to this tonight, because I tell you what, I truly believe that it can change your life. So I want it to change your life. I do this to change your life. Lauren and I do the farm and our beautiful staff to change your life and bring you not only great meat, but great education from the farm, so that we can continue to enhance your life and your outcomes, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So that's what I have for you tonight. I hope it wasn't too much of a lecture. I want it to be fun, enjoyable, engaging. I just got out of the shower. The hair's a mess, so I'm not coming on the camera tonight, but I will be back soon. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you have a great night, and I hope you have a great life. And I hope you really take that life seriously, and you realize just how powerful, you know, like great nutrition and eating off the land can be, you know, to change and mutate, or change, really, not mutate, but sort of change and move yourself into your best self. So if you guys want meat sent right to your house, we could do that. WeAreFreedomFarms.com. I'll put a link down below. Put a little coupon code there, save a couple bucks, and we'll get you started, and we'll send this right to your house, and we'll be your farm. We will be the farm that brings you the meat. We do beef, we do pork, we do chicken, we do Thanksgiving turkeys, and we just want to make you healthy again. We want to make America healthy again. We want to make meat great again, and most importantly, we want to make America great again. So thank you. If you guys ever get a chance to come up to the farm, we'd love to have you. See you guys.